In the shadowy corners of the financial world, where numbers whisper secrets and charts hide mysteries, a story is unfolding. It's one that only a handful of investors have sensed, and even fewer truly understand. It begins quietly, almost invisibly, with a tiny company many people have never heard of. A penny stock priced so low that most traders just scroll right past it without a second glance. Yet beneath its cheap exterior lies attention, an energy, a spark just waiting to ignite. And if the signs are right, 2025 might be the year this unknown player explodes into the spotlight. But to understand why, we need to travel back in time, long before modern markets, before regulation, before corporations as we know them, back to the moment when the world's first bank rewrote the very DNA of money itself. Because buried inside that history is a pattern, a blueprint, the same pattern that small companies follow right before they rise into giants. Centuries ago, when merchants traveled with bags of gold and kings borrowed more than they could repay, the financial world was fragile. Money was heavy, risky, and unpredictable. Trade moved slowly because trust moved slowly. But then came an idea, simple, elegant, revolutionary. Instead of carrying gold from city to city, what if there was a place, a secure house, where gold could be deposited, exchanged, and multiplied? A place where trust could exist not just between two people, but between people and an institution. And so, the world's first bank emerged, shifting the power of money from the hands of kings and merchants to something new, a system, a structure, a foundation of credibility. This moment wasn't loud. There were no celebrations. No one realized that financial history had just changed forever. But quietly, it created the foundation for every market that exists today. Every investment made, every fortune built, and every penny stock waiting for its moment of discovery. This is where our story returns to the present. Today, in 2025, the spirit of that first banking revolution lives on in small, overlooked companies operating in the shadows of giants. Some of them fade away, but some followed the same hidden pattern the first bank did. They solve a real problem. They earn trust slowly. They build their infrastructure quietly. And they position themselves right before a major shift in global demand. This particular penny stock, the one analysts are whispering about in private conversations. The one buried beneath headlines of larger companies has been doing something unusual. Not dramatic, not flashy, but unusual. Its revenue stream has been stabilizing quarter after quarter. Partnerships have started appearing small at first, but strategic, and the insiders, the people who know the company from the inside out, have been accumulating shares quietly, carefully, almost as if they know something the public doesn't. And then came the catalyst. Just as the first bank thrived, because the world needed a safer, smarter way to handle money. This company is positioned at the heart of a modern necessity one the world is rushing toward faster than anyone predicted. A technology shift, a market gap, or perhaps a global trend that is transforming industries faster than traditional corporations can adapt. The parallels are too strong to ignore. Back in ancient Venice, the merchants who adopted the new banking system early multiplied their wealth, while others were left behind. They weren't just investing in gold. They were investing in the infrastructure around gold. Today, investors often make the same mistake. They chase what's popular instead of noticing what's essential. The giants get the headlines, but the foundations, the critical layers that make innovation possible, are often built by smaller companies, unknown companies, companies that start out as penny stocks. The tension is growing. Something is moving beneath the surface. This company, once ignored and dismissed, has been accumulating patents in silence. It's been filing documents at odd hours, hiring talent from major competitors without drawing attention. They're innovating in labs where the windows stay dark and the doors stay locked. They're preparing for something big. And then, in a twist that mirrors financial history, the government steps in not with restrictions, but with opportunity. A new regulation, a new policy, a new incentive, and suddenly, the market this little company operates in becomes fertile ground. Investors who once scoffed are starting to take a second look, Analysts are revising their predictions. The curves on the charts that were once flat are starting to bend upward slowly at first and then sharply, because this is how explosions begin. Quietly, patiently, almost invisibly. The company is solving a problem the world didn't know it had until suddenly it became the only thing that mattered. Think about it. The first bank didn't invent gold. It created a system to manage it. This company isn't inventing a new product from scratch. It's creating the system that will unlock the true potential of an entire industry. It's the picks and shovels during a gold rush. It's the railroad tracks that connected a continent. It's the hidden component inside every smartphone. This is the nature of foundational investments. They're not the star of the show. They're the stage the show is performed on. And when the curtain rises, the value of that stage becomes undeniable. So, while the rest of the market is distracted by the noise, by the drama of big tech and celebrity CEOs, a different kind of story is reaching its climax. It's a story of patience, strategy, and perfect timing. A story about a tiny company that learned from history, followed the blueprint, and waited for its moment. The whispers are getting louder. The data points are aligning. The quiet accumulation of shares by those in the know is turning into a subtle but unmistakable signal. The stage is set, the pieces are in place, and a fuse has been lit. What happens next could redefine a sector and create a new generation of savvy investors who saw the pattern when others only saw a cheap stock. The explosion isn't a matter of if anymore, but when. Let's rewind the clock. Way back, the world's first bank didn't start with a grand marble facade and armed guards. It was small, experimental. Most people probably thought it was a joke, a risky bet no one in their right mind would take. But then things started to shift. Trade routes changed. Merchants needed a new way to do business, and slowly confidence began to build. The growth wasn't a straight line up. It was exponential. And that exact same pattern, that same financial DNA, is showing up right now in the trajectory of a particular penny stock. But let's be real. No great story is just about smooth sailing and endless growth. True transformation is forged in fire. And the fire has arrived. A much larger established rival has taken notice. At first, they probably laughed. Then they got nervous. Now, they are trying to either outrun this newcomer or bury it completely with aggressive cutthroat pricing. And just to stir the pot, a lawsuit has been filed. The motive? It's murky. Are they genuinely trying to slow the company down? Is it a scare tactic to spook investors and drive the price back into the dirt? Or is it the ultimate clear sign that the big guys are seriously threatened? While all this drama unfolds on the public stage, let's peek behind the curtain. Inside the headquarters of this tiny company, the atmosphere is electric. The meetings are getting more intense. The deadlines are getting tighter. Engineers are hunched over their keyboards late into the night, fueled by lukewarm coffee and a quiet, burning ambition. You see, every single major financial shift in history, from that very first bank to the dot-com boom, wasn't just built on a cool idea or a new piece of technology. It was built on human obsession, on the relentless drive of minds that simply refuse to quit. It was built on the kind of resilience that only comes from being constantly underestimated. Most investors, the ones watching from the sidelines, they only see the numbers on a screen, the stock price, the volume, the PE ratio. But behind those cold, hard numbers are real people. Some are hopeful, dreaming of a future they're building. Some are afraid, worried that one wrong move could sink the entire ship. And some are just fighting day in and day out for a single breakthrough they believe will completely revolutionize their entire industry. They're not just chasing a stock price. They're chasing a legacy. And while the engineers are coding and the executives are strategizing, another group is starting to make its move, operating in the shadows. Hedge funds. They're not making big, flashy trades that set off alarm bells. They're moving money with surgical precision, buying up small blocks of shares so discreetly, so methodically, that most of the standard tracking tools and algorithms don't even detect a trend. By the time the pattern becomes obvious to the retail crowd, the smart money has already built its position. They are playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Then it happens. The turning point, the moment everything changes. Maybe it's a stunning new product launch that blows away all expectations. Maybe it's a critical approval from a government agency that opens up a massive new market. Or maybe it's a strategic partnership with a household name, a company 10 times its size, lending it instant credibility. Or perhaps it is something even more profound, a technological breakthrough that doesn't just improve upon the old way of doing things, but redefines the entire game. Suddenly, the trading volume explodes. The price, which had been dormant for months, flickers, then it jumps. Then it surges. The financial news outlets, the so-called experts, are all scrambling to figure out what's happening. They're asking, why is this stock moving? But by then, it's too late. The earthless signals, the subtle clues, the patterns that were visible only to those who knew where to look, those signals are already months old. For the very first time, the world isn't looking at this company and seeing a risky gamble. They're seeing something real, something with substance, something that could and probably will explode. And in that instant, the entire psychology of the market flips. The fear of losing money transforms into a cautious optimism. That caution melts into genuine curiosity. Curiosity builds into palpable excitement. And that excitement, that becomes unstoppable momentum. This is the climax. This is that heart-pounding moment when the world finally realizes that a tiny, overlooked company is no longer tiny. That a stock trading for pennies is no longer cheap. That something that was once hidden in the shadows has now stepped into the blinding light. But just like that first bang changed how the world thought about money forever, the implications here go far beyond just one company's stock price. Because when a small player rises up and challenges the giants, it forces them to respond. It disrupts old, complacent systems. It shoves entire industries, kicking and screaming, into a new era. It introduces fierce competition where, for years, there was none. And, most importantly, it serves as a powerful reminder to everyone from individual investors to massive corporations and even governance. That power is never permanent. It's fluid. It shifts. It evolves. Power always eventually belongs to those who see the opportunity before the rest of the world even knows it exists. And that is precisely why this story matters so much right now. Because somewhere out there, at this very moment, is a company with a price tag that says it's worth next to nothing, but with fundamentals and a future that suggests it's poised for everything. A company that is quietly following the oldest and most reliable pattern in all of financial history. The pattern of quiet beginnings, followed by rising trust, then accelerating momentum. And finally, an explosive, world-changing transformation. Maybe this particular penny stock will be the next massive breakthrough. Maybe it will completely rewrite the rules of its industry. Maybe, just like that first bank, it will change the world in ways that no one currently expects. Or maybe, the smart investors, the ones moving in the shadows, already know the truth. And the rest of the world is just about to find out. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping our financial future.